Ever wondered how one of Hollywood's greatest icons fell from grace? Charlie Chaplin, the genius behind timeless films like City Lights and Modern Times, wasn't just a comedic legend. He was also at the center of one of the most shocking scandals in Hollywood history. But what really happened to turn the world against him? In this video, we'll uncover the scandal that shattered Charlie Chaplin's once unbreakable career and reveal the truth behind his sudden downfall. From his meteoric rise as a silent film star to the controversies that left his reputation in ruins, get ready for a gripping story about fame, politics, and betrayal. Stay tuned as we explore how Chaplin's personal life and political views turned him into a target and ultimately led to his exile from the United States. Charlie Chaplin, the silent film genius who could make the world laugh without uttering a single word, wasn't just a pioneer of comedy. He was a cultural icon whose influence stretched far beyond the silver screen. With his unmistakable bowler hat, cane, and the ever-endearing tramp character, Chaplin's films transcended language barriers and brought joy to millions. He defined an era, blending slapstick humor with a unique ability to highlight the struggles of everyday life. But while the world saw a brilliant entertainer, few knew that behind the scenes, his life was marred by controversy. For all his success, Chaplin's glittering career was ultimately overshadowed by a scandal so massive it threatened to dismantle everything he had built. The beloved star, who once held the world in the palm of his hand, suddenly found himself on the verge of losing it all. What led to such a dramatic downfall? This is the story of how Chaplin's relationships, political ideologies, and relentless clashes with authority created a storm of controversy that would haunt him for the rest of his life, a star at the peak of fame. By the 1920s, Charlie Chaplin was no ordinary movie star. He was a global phenomenon. With every new release, his films captivated audiences across the world, offering not just laughs but heartfelt stories about humanity's struggles. Hits like The Kid, 1921, and City Lights, 1931, showcased his unparalleled talent for blending comedy with emotion, and he became known for tackling social issues through the lens of humor. Chaplin's work resonated with millions because it wasn't just entertainment, it was art with a purpose. He had a way of highlighting the hardships faced by the common man, whether it was poverty, love, or survival, all while maintaining an air of hope and resilience. This ability to connect deeply with audiences made him one of the most beloved figures of his time. But fame, as they say, comes with a price. While Chaplin's on-screen charm seemed untouchable, his off-screen life was far more turbulent. His private affairs, often involving much younger women, frequently made headlines, stirring public outrage. Moreover, his outspoken political beliefs and criticism of authority placed him on a collision course with powerful institutions. Beneath the surface of his success, trouble was brewing, and it was only a matter of time before it exploded into a full-blown scandal. How could a man so adored by the public become one of the most controversial figures in Hollywood? As Chaplin's fame continued to rise, so did the scrutiny surrounding his personal life. What came next was a series of events that would tarnish his reputation forever. The beginning of the trouble, marital issues and lawsuits. For Charlie Chaplin, trouble first began brewing not on the silver screen, but in his personal life. By the mid-1920s, the adored comedian found himself at the center of controversy due to his romantic relationships. In 1924, when Chaplin was 35 years old, he shocked many by marrying 16-year-old Lita Grey, a move that drew significant public attention. While their marriage was legal by the standards of that era, the significant age gap raised eyebrows and became a hot topic in Hollywood circles. Unfortunately, what started as a union between the famed actor and a young actress quickly spiraled into chaos. By 1927, just 3 years after they wed, the marriage ended in a bitter and highly publicized divorce. The proceedings weren't just another Hollywood breakup. They turned into a scandal of epic proportions. Lita Grey accused Chaplin of infidelity and cruel treatment, allegations that fed the tabloids for months. The media eagerly devoured every salacious detail, portraying Chaplin not as a lovable comedian, but as a morally questionable figure whose personal life was far from the wholesome image he projected on the screen. The fallout from the divorce was immense. Along with public humiliation, Chaplin was ordered to pay one of the largest divorce settlements in Hollywood history at the time. The case didn't just dent his finances, it damaged his reputation. How could someone who brought so much joy to the world be embroiled in such a scandalous affair? The public began to see a different side of Chaplin, one riddled with flaws and personal demons. This divorce marked the first major crack in his carefully crafted image. Though Chaplin continued to enjoy success in film, this incident set the stage for further controversies that would soon follow. Could he maintain his place at the top, or would his personal life ultimately overshadow his career? Political allegations and Red Scare suspicions. Charlie Chaplin wasn't just a brilliant entertainer. He was also a man unafraid to voice his opinions on social and political issues. His outspoken criticism of capitalism and advocacy for social equality made him a controversial figure during a tense period in American history. Chaplin's political leanings leaned toward socialist ideals, and while many admired his courage to speak out, others viewed his views as un-American. His bold 1940 masterpiece, The Great Dictator, a biting satire of Adolf Hitler and fascism, showcased not just his talent, but his willingness to take a stand against tyranny. However, not everyone appreciated his outspokenness. As the Cold War began to grip post-war America, fear of communism spread like wildfire. The United States government, determined to weed out any potential subversives, turned its focus to Hollywood. The House Un-American Activities Committee, HUAC, spearheaded efforts to expose individuals suspected of communist sympathies, and Chaplin's name was frequently mentioned. Though Chaplin never identified as a communist, his refusal to conform to American political expectations and his vocal support for social causes made him an easy target for suspicion. Under the leadership of J. Edgar Hoover, the FBI began compiling an extensive file on Chaplin. Every public statement, political involvement, and even his associations were scrutinized. They branded him as a potential subversive, someone who could undermine national security. As tensions escalated, Chaplin became a polarizing figure, praised by some for his bravery and vilified by others who saw him as a danger. The once beloved star, who had spent decades making people laugh, now faced serious accusations. Could it be possible that this comedic legend, celebrated worldwide for his genius, was viewed by his adopted country as a threat? The growing political pressure and media scrutiny placed Chaplin in an increasingly precarious position. Would his career survive this era of fear and suspicion, or would the relentless targeting by powerful figures finally bring him down? The Joan Barry affair, a scandalous paternity trial. If there was one scandal that truly threatened to bring Charlie Chaplin to his knees, it was his highly publicized paternity trial involving Joan Barry. In the early 1940s, Chaplin had a brief affair with Barry, an aspiring actress, and after their relationship ended, Barry claimed that Chaplin was the father of her child. What followed was a media storm unlike any Chaplin had ever experienced. Despite Chaplin's strong denials and insistence that he was not the father, the case quickly spiraled into a sensational trial. The courtroom drama captured the attention of the nation, with every detail splashed across headlines. The court even ordered Chaplin to undergo multiple blood tests to settle the matter once and for all. The tests ultimately proved that Chaplin was not the biological father of Barry's child, a scientific victory that should have put an end to the scandal. But in a shocking turn of events, the jury dismissed the scientific evidence and ruled against him, ordering Chaplin to pay child support. This ruling stunned many, but the real damage was done outside the courtroom. The trial unearthed intimate details about Chaplin's personal life, details that the public was eager to consume. His relationships with much younger women, combined with the questions surrounding his moral character, further tarnished his carefully crafted image. In the eyes of many, Chaplin was no longer just a brilliant filmmaker. He was a man who had disregarded societal norms and values. The affair was more than just a legal battle. It was a symbol of the moral conservatism that was sweeping the United States at the time. Chaplin's lifestyle, which included multiple marriages to young women, no longer fit the idealized image of the family man that society was pushing. The media, ever hungry for scandal, painted Chaplin not only as a Hollywood playboy, but as someone who flouted the rules of decency. Was this the moment when Chaplin's career began its irreversible decline? The Barry affair seemed to confirm the public's worst fears about Chaplin's personal life, and the scandal only added fuel to the fire of existing controversies. Could this legal battle be the final blow to a once unstoppable career? Exile from the United States. In 1952, the final chapter of Charlie Chaplin's relationship with the United States was written when he was exiled from the country. After a trip to England, U.S. immigration officials revoked his re-entry visa, a decision that sent shockwaves through the public. The reasons behind this action were rooted in ongoing suspicions about Chaplin's political beliefs and the controversies surrounding his personal life. This move marked a dramatic and heartbreaking end to Chaplin's American career, as the nation he had helped shape in Hollywood turned its back on him. For over 3 decades, Chaplin had been one of the most iconic figures in American cinema, and to be exiled from the very country that had once adored him was a cruel twist of fate. His films had redefined comedy, his voice had been heard around the world, and his charm had captivated millions. But political suspicion, compounded by personal scandals and a changing cultural climate, had left Chaplin isolated. The United States, now caught in the grip of the Red Scare, viewed his left-leaning views and controversial actions as a threat. How could America, a nation that had once welcomed him with open arms, cast out one of its greatest stars? Instead of fighting for his return, Chaplin made the difficult decision to settle in Switzerland, leaving behind the land of his most significant triumphs. This moment marked a dramatic turning point in his life, symbolizing the personal and professional cost of the political and moral climate of the time. The later years, redemption and reflection. Even in exile, Chaplin's creative spirit remained undiminished. Although his later works, A King in New York, 1957, and A Countess from Hong Kong, 1967, did not match the critical or commercial success of his earlier masterpieces, they reflected his continued passion for filmmaking and storytelling. Chaplin may have been a man exiled from his homeland, but his love for his craft never waned. 2 decades after his exile, a glimmer of redemption came when Chaplin was invited back to the United States in 1972. He received an honorary Academy Award, a moment that was as much about recognition as it was about reflection. Standing on the stage, Chaplin received a warm, emotional reception from the Hollywood community, a partial reconciliation with a public that had once shunned him. The Academy recognized his unparalleled contributions to cinema, and many saw this as a long-overdue acknowledgement of his brilliance. However, the scandals that had defined much of his career, his marriages, his political affiliations, and the personal battles, remained a significant part of his legacy. While the public had come to appreciate his work once more, the tarnish of his past could never be fully erased. Chaplin's return to Hollywood was bittersweet, as the wounds of exile could never truly heal. Yet, in that moment, there was a sense that his place in history had been solidified, even if the cost had been painfully high. The redemption he found in his later years was more about recognition of his immense contribution to cinema, but it didn't erase the years of scandal and ostracism. Could Chaplin ever be fully redeemed in the eyes of the public, or would the shadow of his past always loom over his legendary status? The scandals that marred Chaplin's career were a mix of personal choices, societal expectations, and political tensions. While his genius as a filmmaker remains undisputed, his downfall serves as a reminder of the pressures and pitfalls of fame. His story highlights the complexities of human nature, the dangers of public scrutiny, and the shifting tides of public opinion. Chaplin's career was undoubtedly impacted by his personal scandals and political controversies, but his influence on the film industry endured. His ability to evoke laughter and tears, often in the same scene, set a standard for storytelling that filmmakers continue to admire and emulate. In the end, his legacy transcends the scandals, proving that even the most flawed individuals can leave an indelible mark on the world. Charlie Chaplin's life and career are a testament to both the heights of fame and the depths of scandal. His journey from beloved icon to exiled figure is a story of immense talent, personal turmoil, and the harsh realities of living under public scrutiny. But after everything he faced, from political battles to personal scandals, did Chaplin truly get the redemption he deserved? If you found this story fascinating, don't forget to hit the subscribe button for more incredible Hollywood tales. The truth behind these legendary figures is often stranger than fiction, so make sure you're here for the next chapter.